Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Ox Talks. I really appreciate you watching the show today. I appreciate all of you liking the videos, sharing them with people, as many people as you can think of, family, friends, coworkers, colleagues. And please subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. I appreciate the support. We're growing the channel. I am going to revisit today, because I think it's very serious, the same topic I discussed on yesterday's show. I am not going to repeat what I said yesterday about this potential East Coast port shutdown. I have an updated article that just came out on CNBC about 2 hours ago that explains the extent of the companies that will be affected if this strike actually goes into effect. We know now we've had the hurricane make its way up through Florida in the last 24 hours and up the eastern seaboard. So I want to bring you guys up to speed on this. I kept the same thumbnail, I just changed the title a bit because this is new information. And this is very, very serious, a lot worse than I must say even I understood even as of yesterday. So let me jump right into the story. It says port strike would leave Walmart, Ikea, Home Depot with few options, the union warns. And it goes far beyond just those companies. It says the International Longshoremen's Association port workers move closer to a strike at East Coast and Gulf Coast ports. It says the union is warning that major importers such as LG Electronics, Walmart, Ikea, Samsung, and Home Depot will find no options to divert trade to Canada or the West Coast as other unions close ranks in support of its labor battle. These companies are among, it says, the leading importers at the 14 major ports that an ILA strike would impact, according to Import Genius. Overall, between 43 and 49% of all U.S. imports and billions of dollars in trade monthly, it says, are at stake as the union moves closer to the October 1st deadline for a new contract, over which talks between the union and port management broke down, it says, in June, have not resumed. So we're talking about billions of dollars in trade, okay? And this is very, very serious. It says to stop trade entering the U.S. on such a large scale, even for a short period of time, is highly damaging to the economy. So government intervention will be needed to bring the matter to a resolution for the good, it says, of the nation, warned Peter Sand, chief shipping analyst at Zenita. A strike lasting just 1 week, he says, will impact schedules for ships leaving the Far East on voyages to the United States in late December and throughout January. While some logistics managers say Canada and the West Coast are options for vessels to divert to and unload cargo, the ILA has union chapters at the Atlantic coast and Great Lakes ports in Canada. And it says the ILA is North America's largest longshoremen's union. Out of the 85,000 members, 50,000 would go on strike at the 14 ports that are subject, it says, to the master contract that has not been negotiated. And it says separately, listen to this, the Port of Montreal Union affiliated with the Canadian Union of Public Employees issued a 72-hour notice that its own 3-day strike starts on Monday, September 30th. Mia Ginter, director of North American Ocean Shipping at C.H. Robinson, tells CNBC this strike could exacerbate the U.S. port strike disruption. So she says, with Canada being a main contingency route, an overlapping strike at the Port of Montreal, even with some terminals remaining operational, will significantly weaken this as a contingency route, she says. Additionally, she notes that Hurricane Helen's impact on the U.S. Southeast means fewer trucks are heading to those ports, which could affect importers trying to move their freight before an ILA strike begins. I shared yesterday on the show the last time the ILA went on strike was in 1977. It says Import Genius compiled the bills of lading for 2024 and the digital receipts of the containers, which has shipper and product information at ports of New York, New Jersey, Baltimore, Savannah, Houston, North Carolina, South Carolina, Virginia, and New Orleans. Listen to this. LG Electronics topped the list with 54,363 and 57 TEUs. That's 20-foot equivalent units. Walmart was second with 47,680 TEUs, followed by Ikea at 42,938 TEUs. Other top importers are Bob's Furniture, Samsung, Home Depot, Hyundai, General Motors, Dollar General, and Amazon. Tire companies Michelin, Goodyear, and Continental Tire were also top importers. It says the top importers for New York and New Jersey, the largest port on the East Coast was General Motors, Clovis America, LG Electronics, Samsung Electronics, and Bob's Furniture in that order. According to William George, Director of Research for Import Genius, Ikea is the number one importer, it says, at Baltimore. In Savannah, the largest port in the South, says Hanwha Q Cells Georgia, division of South Korean company, which makes solar cell components. Walmart and automotive logistics company Clovis America are the top importers according to its data. And that's at Savannah. So when you see the breakdown, and they have all these charts, and I'll show you quickly in a second, of just the massive amount of companies that import products to these 14 ports at issue, it is mind-boggling. On average, it says it takes 1 week to clear out 1 day of port closure, according to SAND, and the stakes are high with more than 40% of total containerized goods entering the U.S. through ports on the East Coast and Gulf Coast. On Thursday, the group representing ports management, the U.S. Maritime Alliance, more commonly known as USMX, has filed an Unfair Labor Practice Act. It says that USMX is signaling that this strike is actually going to happen. So we'll see if it does or doesn't. We talked about the 14 ports affected. According to supply chain intelligence firm Kepler, K-P-L-E-R, 147 vessels, a combination of container ships and roll-on, roll-off vessels, are en route to the East Coast and Gulf ports by October the 1st, with 38 of those vessels headed to the port of New York, New Jersey. The total carrying capacity of the inbound vessels is 686,181 20-foot equivalent container units. The value of that freight is upward of $34.3 billion. $34.3 billion based on MDS Transmodel estimate of 50,000 per container. It says the USMX has said in a statement recently posted on its website that the ILA continued to strongly signal, that's in quotes, that it has already made the decision to strike. Listen to this. The White House spokesperson, or a White House spokeswoman, told CNBC on Friday in a statement that senior officials from the White House Labor Department and Department of Transportation have been in touch with both the union and USMX and delivering the message to them directly that they need to be at the table and negotiating in good faith, fairly, and quickly. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg, Acting Secretary of Labor Julie Su, and Director of the National Economic Council Lael Brainerd were in those conversations as well. So we're talking a high level, top level government discussions to try to avert this strike. You think this is not a big deal? The Biden administration reiterated its position that they've never invoked Taft-Hartley to break a strike and are not considering doing so now. This is an analysis, I'll close here, analysis from research firm MITRE estimates that a 30-day strike centered at the Port of New York and New Jersey could result in an economic impact as high as $64.1 million per day. In Virginia, an economic impact of $600 million per day is the forecast, or roughly $18 billion over 30 days. Export impacts at Houston operations could reach $51 million per day and $41.5 million per day for imports. And then, of course, they lay the charts out. They go port by port and show, what companies are bringing products in. So, for example, this is the Gulf Coast ports. and they have the Port of New York and New Jersey. You can see who the top importers there are, and it goes through the list. I kind of touched on that in the article, so I won't go any longer today. Let's pay attention to this. It is a big deal. If it doesn't blow over, you always hear last minute they reached a deal. That's probably going to be the outcome, but it's not necessarily going to be the outcome. And it may not even, maybe probably is too strong of a word, okay? So guys, again, you have the weekend here. September 30th at midnight is this deadline. You do have the weekend to maybe, get some extra supplies around your house, stock up on some things that you've been, meaning to do. Just make some smart preparations. You don't have to go out and hoard things, but that is the message. And when I saw this update article today, I thought it was worthwhile to bring to your attention. Apologize, it was a bit redundant from yesterday, but I think this is, from my perspective, this is the top thing right now that we should all be very concerned about with this country, okay? We know the economy's weak. We know the consumer's weak. We know the government is indebted up to its eyeballs, as we discussed a few days ago. So it's a terrible time if this actually unfolds the way it could as of midnight on September 30th. With that being said, hope all of you have a great rest of your day today. God bless you. Thank you for supporting the channel, subscribing. I'll talk to you all soon. Bye.